already stinging the Texas coast. Authorities warn that in some areas it is already too late to get out of Dodge. Forecasters expect Harvey to be a slow mover with days of rain, dropping around 3 feet of water in some places. The worst case scenario, some weather models show Harvey making landfall, then going back out to sea, regrouping, and then returning to shore. Either way, the storm surge is forecast to push walls of water onto shore. Today, FEMA moved gigantic generators to Texas, anticipating massive power outages. This will be the first major natural disaster in the U.S. on President Trump's watch. Moments ago, he left for Camp David. He will be monitoring the storm from there. CNN has teams positioned along the Texas coast. Nick Valencia is in Corpus Christi, which is bracing for a direct hit. Ed Lavandera is in Galveston, Texas, where heavy rain is picking up. Paula Sandoval is inland in San Antonio, where folks are also preparing for disaster. But we're going to start in the CNN Severe Weather Center with meteorologist Chad Myers. And Chad, often weather forecasters and we in the media were accused of overhyping the risks of hurricanes.
Absolutely, Jake. But this storm has the same central pressure that Sandy had when it came on shore. Think of the devastation, the feat of inundation that Sandy had. And this has one more added aspect. It doesn't move once it gets on land. It's about 70 miles from Corpus Christi right now. The eye is easily definable on radar. This is going to be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 punch. It's going to keep on going for 5 solid days. 120 miles per hour at the core. I'm not really even worried about that core. That's only 5 miles wide. This storm goes all the way from Brownsville to Louisiana. This is going to affect a wide swath of America. Right through here, this is where the models are taking it, right on shore. But let me put you, after 24 hours, the models have no idea. Honestly, they have no idea where this thing goes. Loop left, loop right, whatever it could be. They have no concept of where this is going to be, and there are some spots that could pick up over 3 feet of rain and storm surge of at least 12 feet. Let me take you now to something else. How much rain is actually going to fall across the southern part of the country, from Texas all the way to Brownsville, all the way as far south and southeast as Corpus Christi, and then as far northeast as Houston. That gray area is 25 inches everywhere, not in one storm, everywhere. And that's what we're going to see all the way to Houston, Port Lavaca, all the way up and possibly even into Lake Charles. If the models don't have any idea where they're going at next, this could go to New Orleans after that. That's not out of the question, Jake.
All right, meteorologist Chad Myers, thank you. CNN's Nick Valencia is in Corpus Christi, as I mentioned, where we expect landfall this evening. And Nick, we've watched the winds pick up there. How are conditions now?
Well, it just blew my hat off my head, Jake, if that's any indication. It's about as bad as we have seen it all day long. Hurricane Harvey living up to the hype here. That heavy wind just whipping, that rain starting to sting. And this is really what's ominous. These waves, what we've been keeping an eye all day long, we're on the very edge of the seawall here in Corpus Christi, a place that is expected to be especially hard hit by Hurricane Harvey. Over the course of the last 48 hours, the city's mayor here ordered voluntary evacuations. I was talking to one city official here who says they hope they don't regret issuing a mandatory evacuation here. You can see, though, that there still are some residents out. I'm not sure if you can make them out in the distance under that gazebo there. A lot of curious hurricane tourists, if you will, trying to check out how bad things are. That's exactly what first responders don't want you to do, but that's the situation here in Corpus Christi. The city, for all intents and purposes, is shut down. Schools are closed. Businesses are boarded up. The airport stopped taking flights as early as 6:30 this morning. They won't continue until Monday. One of the local representatives here told me that there is an anticipation that people here could be without basic food and services for up to 5 days. Jake.
All right, Nick Valencia, stay safe, my friend. Let's go now up the coast to CNN's Ed Lavandera. He's in Galveston, Texas. Ed, what's the story where you are?
Well, Jake, we're going to be on the eastern edge of this hurricane as it makes landfall. We've had a series of rain bands already whip their way on shore here this afternoon. We're in between one of those now, but as you can tell, the winds are now kind of remaining sustained here. Not hurricane force winds by any means just yet, but definitely winds that have picked up, and anticipate that this will continue sustaining, if not increasing. But what we hear repeatedly from emergency officials here on the ground is not just about what is going to happen here in the next couple of hours, but in the next couple of days. As Chad was talking about, that flooding is a concern. We're hearing and we're getting indications from emergency management officials that there's a lot of pre-positioning of rescue boats and swift water, high water rescue teams getting moved into position, anticipating that there will be a number of those types of rescues that will have to be carried out over the next couple of days. That is of great concern. Just Brazoria County, which is one county over here from Galveston Island, was told by one emergency management official that they are somewhat satisfied with the way people are heeding these mandatory evacuation warnings, but that not everyone has evacuated. Here on Galveston Island, it's a voluntary evacuation order, and officials here just kind of re-punching that out there, urging people to heed those warnings. Jake.
All right, Ed Lavandera in Galveston, Texas. Thank you. Stay safe. Let's go a bit inland now to CNN's Polo Sandoval. We find him in San Antonio. And Polo, evacuees from the coast are heading to where you are. How is the city going to handle them?